Yeah, we most certainly can.
This is the Let's Have a Real Conversation podcast, and I am Dash, and this is Who Are You?
I don't even know who I am anymore. Nah, I'm just...
Well, you can have your philosophical crisis another time.
Right. I am J.D., a.k.a. He Who Pods. Alright? And we are back with another pod. Another one. Speaking of another one... No, it's too early.
I mean, go for it. Why not? Do it. I didn't pull up the topics yet.
Yeah! You see? Speedy Gonzalez. Oh, I gotta blur out that. Chris, edit point.
Chris, get that.
That was way too early for the YouTube community.
Yeah.
Yeah, DJ Khaled dropped a new single.
That's what I heard.
And it's a DJ Khaled single.
Another one?
Another one.
So it's like an R&B artist, a rapper, a very popular rapper, and maybe another very popular rapper, but one who's not as big as the other one.
Pull it up and see how accurate your description was.
And I just want to be clear, I didn't know anything about this before an hour ago, and I have not looked up anything, so...
Yep. Check it out. Read it to the good folks, our lovely viewers, listeners, watchers, subscribers.
Supposed to Be Loved, featuring Lil Uzi Vert.
And? There's more. It's not just Uzi.
Oh, DJ Khaled, Lil Baby, and Future.
And?
Featuring Lil Uzi Vert. That's weird. I don't understand how that works.
Gotta talk to Apple. Apple Music and them.
And who else is on it? It doesn't say.
That's it.
Oh, okay. Is there an R&B singer on this song?
I mean, aren't they technically all R&B singers, but not at the same time?
No.
Yo no sé.
No. They're not. They're not all R&B singers. None of them are. None of those people I listed are R&B singers, and I rebuke that. In the name of whoever you believe in.
And whoever you believe in.
I rebuke that. Yo, drinking warm iced coffee.
I rebuke that.
It has no ice.
Chris up.
Chris up. Chris didn't make the ice. Motherfucker.
Yo, it's hard out here for a pimp. A pimp being our intern. Because that poor person gets blamed for everything.
He didn't make the ice. How am I supposed to drink my coffee without ice?
At your house, he got to make the ice?
Yes.
You didn't even say buy the ice. You said make the ice.
During pod hours, Chris got to make the ice.
Wow. I'm going to start a GoFundMe for Chris.
Or at least buy a bag of ice and bring it with you when you come.
Well, that's what I thought you was going to say. That he didn't bring the ice. But then you said he didn't make the ice.
Because he didn't. He didn't. I had to do it. And it's not ready yet.
I'm sorry for you. You should have stopped at Dunkin'. Or had Chris go to Dunkin'.
I wanted my coffee from home.
Well...
From the break room at Hardly headquarters.
Yeah, there you go. Hardly headquarters. That's right.
Anyway. Okay, so
we got to start putting that in our location. On
we should.
Any post that's with us in it, we got to put
Hardly headquarters.
Location Hardly headquarters.
Because that's where we are.
We got to figure out how to do that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Chris, put that in the notes, player.
I think they make it harder these days for you to put random locations.
Yeah, they want like addresses and zip codes. Those.
Yeah, we're not giving them that. But
those Mayflowers. When you're trying to get monetized, the struggle is real. You know what I'm saying?
Right. DJ, listen,
You wanna play it?
Not really.
Oh, okay, then don't even bother.
All right, let me hear the beginning. Let me listen to the beginning. I've heard enough. After 28 seconds, I'm done.
Okay, wait.
First 5 seconds were great.
Wait. For the YouTube community, let me look at their JD cam. For the YouTube community, you know we had to mute it because if not, it would get flagged. So we're gonna mute this couple of seconds for y'all. Everybody else will be able to hear it. I'm sorry, but if you haven't heard DJ Khaled's new single, go check it out. And here is a live reaction from Dash.
I turned it off at 28 seconds. No, I don't want to know what comes next. Now the first 5 seconds of the song I was with it. I could hear the sample. I can't recall.
What was the sample?
I can't recall the song right now, but
Pretty Young Thing by Michael Jackson. PYT,
which is one of my favorites, and then it went wrong, like really fast,
real quick,
really quick.
Maybe we should call this episode "Wrong Turn." That's a horror movie.
Oh yes, I I've heard of it. I might have even seen it.
Word.
Yeah, I might have even seen that. Listen, no, that's it. No. I'm okay. Thank you, DJ Khaled. See, and I said this to you before we started recording that, like, okay, DJ Khaled, makes music. So he makes compilation albums. That's great. He should keep doing that. Like I should keep doing my job. I shouldn't stop doing my job because somebody doesn't like me or something that I do, right? Or
because you don't go down on your wife.
No one will ever forget that.
I, the sexual intellectual, will never forget that.
He sure did say that he does not do that to his wife.
He was adamant about it.
Adamant. And
it wasn't even like it was a secret and he whispered it and the lavalier mic picked it up.
No, yeah.
He was on some, let me get close to the mic.
And he be taking that everywhere too. Don't. It's not even like he has a wife who he can, there's...
He gotta take her everywhere. Because if he don't, somebody else will go down on her.
Well, exactly, but I'm just...
Let me bump into her at Whole Foods. I'd be like, man, you look real familiar. Are you? She'd be like, I'm DJ Khaled's
curly
wife.
Auburn hair.
She'd be like, I'm DJ Khaled's wife. I'd be like, man, I was going to say you look like someone who hasn't had an orgasm in a long time.
Listen.
Why don't you let me help you with that? Help me help you,
right,
Mrs. Khaled.
Mrs. Khaled. I just don't... What I mean when I say, oh, he takes her everywhere, it's like, if you want to air your dirty laundry, like, there's some famous men who...
They talk their shit, but we never see their person.
Some famous people who will never see their person, like, correct. And they'll say whatever they say in public, and that person is protected, right?
Yes. LL Cool J has been with the same woman for a billion years. We didn't start seeing her till maybe 10 years ago.
Right. And that's pretty common for people that are in these long-term relationships. I feel like you see the people who end after like a year or two. You always see those people.
And before Jada Pinkett was around, once upon a time, Will Smith said, the lady of my life, she's hidden.
Right. Which, I mean, now we all know who she is. But...
Never mind.
But that woman had to come outside with that man after he made this announcement about their very private life.
And put the baby on 5 album covers and gave it executive producer credits.
Oh my gosh, how old is the baby now? Remember when the baby used to be on stage with him with the big noise canceling headphones?
I don't. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't. I've never seen that.
When he first had when they first had the baby.
I'm not saying you're a liar. I'm saying
I know. I'm telling you.
Oh, okay. I bet.
When they first had the baby, he would bring, and he was everywhere at that time. He would bring the baby on stage, and the baby would just have on these big noise canceling headphones.
So you're saying the baby's deaf right now? That's a joke, people. Just a joke. So anyway, DJ Khaled should not stop doing his job because
I said so, is what I'm saying. But I don't care. Sorry, I don't care. I just feel like the albums are never that great.
Oh, this is about to be the viral episode. Go ahead.
I feel like the albums are never that great. The singles are cool. The singles are usually fun and things you want to dance to or sing along to. That's a fact. But as far as like sitting down and diving into an entire album, I never really care for them. I like some of the songs, but I would say maybe I like a third of the songs, and then the rest of it I don't ever listen to again. That's just me.
But you've heard entire DJ Khaled projects before.
Yeah.
And you've never felt like one body of work has been solid.
I don't want to say not solid. I just feel like it wasn't for me. I'm not saying that it's not well put together music. I just don't care for it. It doesn't move me in any way. I'm not really interested. And I've been excited. I was very much on the DJ Khaled wave when he was at his peak.
Oh, when was that?
Around the time that Assad was born. And he released his book, and he was everywhere. He was the Snapchat king.
Cocoa butter.
Yeah. I bought They Block. I did. I also bought his book and read it. It's actually a great book. I always recommend it to people. His journey and him explaining, like, him reaffirming what we all already know, like, it doesn't matter how many people try to stop you or how many obstacles come in front of you, you have to keep trying or find a way around it. And I feel like that's when he was his biggest, like, that's when he was his most visible, I should say. Okay. So peak is relative. I'm sure other people maybe think differently, but
you mean musically at his peak?
Yeah, I mean his career, period. I think we were all talking about DJ Khaled during that time. I think now it wouldn't have been on my radar if you didn't mention that DJ Khaled had an album coming out. He wouldn't have been on my radar at all right now.
Even after the success of God Did?
That was great for a time, but then after that, it was kind of like we didn't really hear anything else about DJ Khaled.
Got it. So do you think I know it's turned into like a whole interview, but do you think that...
I feel like this is rollingstone.com.
You know what I'm saying? Chris, bleep that out. They didn't pay us. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. So you don't think him taking an executive role is taking him beyond music, and you still think his career peaked?
Yeah, I think his music career peaked.
Okay.
I think his connection to the creation of music, the arranging of music, the being the DJ Khaled of it all, I don't think that's really the big... I didn't know he was working on an album. I don't think that's really out there for us to see at this point. I think he probably is doing his executive thing and, you know, helping artists and doing whatever it is he does. And I think that's fine. When we're talking about his music career, I think, and just his persona, I think that peaked. I think he had that moment, and I don't know. I think he'll always be very important, and I think he will always matter to people, but I think he peaked. I think he had that moment, and we all watched it happen. I mean, he was on fire when he was on Snapchat, and he was the king. He was the king. He was. That's how I got into him, because I didn't really care much about Snapchat, but I just thought it was hilarious watching him and Rick Ross on Snapchat. They were, I mean, I don't think Rick Ross ever reached the level
the best of shirtless buddies.
Yes. Oh yes, because the best part of watching them on Snapchat was when they would see each other on their jet skis in Miami. Rich nigga shit.
There it is.
They would just randomly, like, Kylie would be like, "Oh my gosh, is that Rosé?" That was good. And that was around the time where Rick Ross was on house arrest, so he had a lot of time on his hands. And anyway, that's what I think. I think that there was a peak that happened, and it's not to say he's not a huge star anymore. It's just that I feel like that everybody kind of has that wave, and most people don't get that wave again.
That's true.
Like,
do you think, last question, do you think the brand has become bigger than just the music?
It would have to be if he's doing things behind the scenes, if he's an executive, if he's doing things that we can't see. Of course it's bigger. Okay. Of course it's bigger than the music. And that's why I say I don't think it's not. I hope that it's not taken as me trying to diminish his career in any way, or me trying to diminish what he's accomplished. I'm just saying I never really cared for the albums. I think I was more interested in the persona, or in his journey, in his story, and in everything else that he's done socially, and how he's parlayed that into countless advertisements that he's been a part of, countless campaigns that he's been a part of. I think that he's a really smart and charismatic person, and that's what I like about DJ Khaled. His album specifically, I could take him or I could leave him. Like, I don't have like a huge desire to listen to them, nor do I like. When I say I don't care, I mean, like, I'm not running towards it. I'm not thinking.
Yeah, you mean fuck that nigga if the cameras ain't on.
Not quite, but just like, oh, DJ Khaled has an album coming out. Okay, good for him.
Got it. All right, let's start the show.
You're not gonna weigh in?
Oh, on the single?
Yeah.
Oh, the single's trash.
You asked me all these questions about DJ Khaled and his career.
Well, because you was like, you said his
made
albums
me
are
sound
trash.
like a jerk.
You said his albums are trash. I enjoy DJ Khaled's music.
I didn't say his albums are trash.
You know, I'm trying to.
That's not what I said.
This is an audio adventure, you know.
Right, but you.
This is about the entertainment industry.
Oh.
We're here to entertain. No, I'm just playing. I think DJ Khaled has good music. I do think that DJ Khaled has a specific brand of music. Mm-hmm. I think that he caters to a much younger demographic. Mm-hmm. And I do not always fall in line with the younger demographic.
Yeah.
So the albums that I like from DJ Khaled are a bit older. Because some of the artists that are seasoned veterans and the top tier now, they were kind of younger and just starting.
At the time, yeah.
I do think every DJ Khaled album, we know we're going to get certain things. And some of those things I look forward to. This new single falls in the category of I don't look forward to. I don't think using the Michael Jackson sample was smart. Mm-hmm. I know that there is a formula where you use something that sounds familiar, something that people are used to because they will be less resistant to it when they hear the new version. Mm-hmm. Take hits from the 80s, make it sound so crazy. Exactly.
Yeah.
But
Major Key was okay.
But I'm
looking at the album.
I got it, yeah. Trying to give yourself a little grace.
I'm just trying to see, you know. I'm trying to see what.
What's the name of that one?
Kiss the Ring.
That was a good one. Anyway.
That was a good one.
Yeah, Kiss the Ring is one of my favorite DJ Khaled projects. Anyway.
It's the first one, I think.
No, We the Best and all those came first. No? Yeah, Kiss the Ring was not the first.
Oh, it's the way they had it listed. Okay.
I think you were looking at like his most popular projects, and then when you pull out the whole list, it does it in release order, chronological order.
Yo, Assad really like.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Assad is. Oh, I have a question to ask you, and we could decide whether we want to keep it on the pod or not. But finish what you're saying, and then I'll ask you.
Okay. I think that this, I was about to say this episode. I think this single, yes, tried to use that formula of take something popular and old and kind of spice it up and make it new. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it worked. PYT is a hit. It's a mega hit if such a thing exists. It's out in the stratosphere somewhere. It's huge. I mean, it's one of Michael Jackson's biggest records. You hear it everywhere.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that was the one to sample. There's plenty of Michael Jackson records that you could have sampled that are popular and would have gotten more of a buzz. If your idea was to make people talk, then mission accomplished.
Right.
But if this was supposed to be the first smash single, then no, mission not accomplished. And I have to be honest, I don't think that was his mission because he already let it be known that he has other records done and in the tuck from Drake and other big stars.
Okay.
Which we also know every album that Khaled has, we're going to get a Drake single.
That's true. The Drake single is usually good.
I usually enjoy them.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I try to say it as best as I can, but I know sometimes when you have a negative opinion about something, that means you have a complete, according to the audience.
The internet. Because our audience shows us love.
They do, but I just mean
but
like...
the internet.
Yeah, and when I say audience, I don't mean our audience specifically. I just mean whoever's listening usually interprets one negative comment to mean that you hate it, you think it's trash, you think it's awful. And
I do think this single is trash, though. Let it be known.
Oh, I know that. I'm just saying...
Well, we know you know because you turned it off after 28 seconds.
I'm just saying that that's why I said earlier, I don't want to diminish all the work that DJ Khaled does or has done, because I don't think that because I don't connect with the albums means that they're not good or that they shouldn't happen. I just think that's, like you said, it's a certain brand of music. There's a certain formula at play, and I like some of it, and I just don't care for the rest of it. Like, it's just not music that I go back to, and that's fine, as far as I'm concerned. Now, what I will say is I've been looking back. You
said you had a question for me.
I do. It's unrelated, so let's just finish DJ Khaled, and then I'll ask you.
You got it, boss.
But talking about DJ Khaled and his son made me think of it. We the Best. I loved We the Best. That was... So Hood was on that.
Yeah.
Week Taking Over was on that.
Yeah. Brown
Paper Bag. I always make it sound like that nursery rhyme. DJ Khaled presents Ace Hood and Ace Hood Gutta, which I don't think I've ever listened to that. We Global. Yeah, I feel like the earlier ones I liked a lot more. And then... Oops. And then I guess at some point, like... I think at the point where I was getting excited about DJ Khaled, just in general, I would be like, oh, I'm so excited to listen to this new album. And then I would listen to it and I'd be like, it's okay. So, it is what it is. I mean, I wish him well on all his future endeavors. And... and I'm looking forward to the bangers that will come from the album, because there usually are. There's usually about a good 3, I would say, that make... No, that's not... You didn't even let me finish my sentence. You see what I'm talking about? There's usually a good 3 that makes it to, like, mainstream, that makes it to... that comes out as singles, is what I'm saying, that is everywhere. And those are usually, like, the ones that make you excited about his album coming out in the first place. That's what I mean. I don't mean there's only 3 songs. And maybe that's true too, but I don't know.
And maybe that's true too. Next.
I'm just messing around.
That's it.
Okay, so here's my question. Because someone referred to, was it Vanity Fair? I think it was Vanity Fair. Why are you making that face?
Because I don't know where this is going. Look at it.
Someone referred to Blue Ivy as a prodigy.
Of what?
I think it was Vanity Fair. I wonder if I saved it. And I looked at it and I thought, well, I think it's fantastic what she's been able to do on her summer break. But I don't know, like, it's none of my business, let me be clear. But what but why are we calling her a prodigy? Like, what? I know that she's been on songs before, but not like.
I mean, she's never really done anything on a song.
Right. She's sung along. I know on Brown Skin Girl, she sung along there.
I should shut up because, yes, that's a hit record and I totally forgot about that.
Right.
She has definitely contributed to a hit record.
But
yes.
Was that her, like, showing singing ability, or was that her just like a kid singing along with a song their parent did and it made it to, it made it to release?
That's a great question. Let me call Pharrell. Hold on.
I'm only saying that because I want to be careful the way that...
Well, what did they say?
I'm looking for it. Let me just Google.
Yeah, because, if you're going to ask some stuff, we got to know what you asking, player.
Well, my question is, what makes her a prodigy and what makes a person a prodigy? And then I looked it up and I was like, okay, maybe I'm the problem here because...
Well, what's the definition of a prodigy? Is it a Queens rapper and legend who has passed? That wouldn't be a prodigy. That would just be prodigy. One half of rap legendary group Mobb Deep.
A person, especially a young one, endowed with exceptional qualities or abilities. That was not actually the first one I had seen. And then it also says an impressive or outstanding example of a particular quality.
Okay. But that's why I asked, a prodigy of what?
I'm trying to find
A
that.
dancing prodigy, a singing prodigy, a creative prodigy, an art picking prodigy.
I mean, she has 2 gold plaques.
I mean, they're not her plaques. Michael Jackson as a kid, he had plaques. She ain't got those kind of plaques.
Yeah. Blue Ivy Carter, Jay-Z and Beyonce's eldest daughter, has received 2 gold certifications from the Recording Industry Association of America at only 10 years old.
Okay, but she doesn't have a song, so that's what I'm saying.
The firstborn child of the Carters earned the 2 plaques after Beyonce's 2013 track Blue, which appeared on Beyonce, and Brown Skin Girl, which appeared on The Lion King, The Gift.
Yeah.
And it earned 500,000 units each. Blue Ivy is credited as a featured artist on Blue and a songwriter and vocal contributor on Brown Skin Girl.
Okay, so. I'm saying, so is that vanity, not at you. So they're saying she's a prodigy as a vocalist?
That's not vanity. This was actually an article by Hypebeast. I was just looking to see. I can't find it on Instagram, so I just Googled Blue Ivy prodigy, and there's a bunch of different articles where people refer to her as a prodigy, a musical prodigy. Like even Elle magazine said has the title this was in 2015. They said they had an article titled "Blue Ivy Carter is becoming an adorable musical prodigy."
No, she's not a prodigy yet. Today,
right. And that was my.
What's today's date?
That was my question.
Today, Larry Squint. Today, Sunday, August 13th, 2023, the year of our Lord. Don't spit out your coffee.
Mm-hmm.
No, Blue Ivy today is not a childhood musical prodigy. No. She hasn't done shit on her own or with a group or anything like that. When Michael Jackson was 12, he was a child prodigy. He was a megastar. He was someone who, yes, he was the youngest in the group, but clearly he was the person who we knew.
Right.
This guy is going places. I mean, we didn't know shit because we weren't born, but history shows that people knew, hey, that's the one. Mm-hmm. Being a child of 2 megastars does not automatically make you a prodigy.
But it does afford you certain advantages. Sorry.
Advantages, yes. Resources, yes. Prodigy, no. Okay. Willow Smith is a child of 2 stars. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Jada, but you ain't a megastar. Will is a megastar.
You didn't even have to do that.
Because she wasn't. Because some people would say 2 megastars. She ain't a kid of 2 megastars.
But nobody hears that.
I mean,
you are funny.
Just keeping it a buck. Jada is Jada. Will is, way up there. Now.
And everything is everything.
All the time. Everywhere all at once. Will and Jada had Willow. Willow came out. I wear my hair,
and she sure was whipping her hair. And that was a vibe for one summer.
For one summer. That did not make her a childhood prodigy, but she has a platinum record. I don't know if she continued to do music after that. I heard she dropped something recently, but before that, I don't know what happened in the middle of that.
Amazing performer.
I don't even have any data on that.
I don't have context on it, but I have heard people as recently as in the last few weeks say that they've seen her perform, and she's an incredible performer. I just don't have any knowledge.
Oh, that's great, but she's an adult now. My point is,
yeah.
When Willow was a child, however old she was when she dropped, what's it called, Whip It or whatever, y'all know the song. As y'all can see, I have no hair to whip, so it probably looks way worse. But anyway,
and all of mine
is neatly.
Yeah.
My point being, she had a platinum record. Mm-hmm. You could look it up, but I'm pretty sure Whip My Hair Back and Forth was platinum. Mm-hmm. And she was not labeled a child prodigy.
Right.
I think we may have, as a society, as part of the Beehive, as part of the... Jay-Z never gave his group of people a name, but as the Jay-Z fan club, we, as a populace, we may want her to be a star like mom and dad.
Right.
But we don't know.
And they may want her
Maybe
to be
she's
a
going to
star
just
like
be
mom
a
and dad.
dope-ass painter. Maybe she's going to have the best sculptures we've ever seen.
Maybe
we don't know, and maybe she will be the future Beyonce
because she's into art.
But today, that's why I said art.
Yeah,
picker?
we know that she's into art. She's very involved in the
art picking process,
the affordable art. Yeah.
And so maybe one of those things, maybe all of those things. But
wearable
today,
art,
today
is different.
Today, no, she's not a childhood prodigy. There's nothing that gives any evidence or anything. I don't even have another word, but there's nothing that we can use to support the statement of her being a child prodigy because she hasn't done anything exceptional on her own merit. I mean, we heard her crying on a record. We heard her saying, the brown skin girl thing. I mean, if a kid singing words in kid form makes you a childhood prodigy, well then sure, she's a prodigy. But if that's never how it's been used. Right. Nas had a song with a bunch of kids singing just like that on it. Mm-hmm. None of them were labeled childhood prodigies. They were just kids singing on a song. Yeah. And so, I mean, if she releases a record or does some dope ass poems or creates some type of visual art, maybe, but a musical prodigy, I mean, is she playing the drums or some shit? Like, I haven't seen anything. Now, you know who might be a kid prodigy? Swiss Beats and Alicia Keys' son. I don't know his name, but I seen footage of him like 6 years old making beats. And I know Kendrick Lamar bought and rapped on one of them. Mm-hmm. And I saw recently that Swiss Beats is like, I walked in the crib and look what this kid is doing. And he's freaking it on the piano. Yeah. That is some type of evidence of, hey, there's potential here. We can visibly see that this kid may be able to do these things. Mm-hmm. But just because your parents made you and they're stars, that don't mean you're a prodigy. Blue Ivy hasn't done shit to be a prodigy. Right. And I'm not hating on Blue Ivy. Listen, if Blue Ivy becomes a megastar, if Blue Ivy puts out some type of dope art of some kind, whether that is musical or visual or digital, then I will gladly support it. How could I not as a fan of both of her parents? Right. I'm just saying today no evidence supports that she is a child prodigy. No, get the fuck out of here. Not you. Whoever Vanity or whoever is saying that.
Maybe it was CNN.
Sip of water.
I just was
after my rant.
I was surprised by it, and then I looked at the comments, and it was like they had
I mean, I guess we're giving all the ads out today.
That's fine. It looked like they had just posted it, so there were only a handful of comments, but that was what a couple of the comments said, like, a prodigy. Somebody was like, she's great, and because I think the article was about her performing on stage with her mom on her tour.
Okay.
And no, I'm telling you what
my reaction is not to you. My reaction is to, like, stop. I think it's a reach. If we're being blunt,
think it's a reach also.
I think it's a reach. I think it's clickbait. And I think it's for this very purpose. I think today there's all type of lists that come out. I think there's all type of clickbaity articles that come out. Mm-hmm. I think there are videos and rants that people do just for this specific purpose, so that they can be discussed, so that they can stay quote unquote relevant. Yeah. And so things can continue to circulate. That's what I think. Because it's very easy for us who have a podcast to come up here and share opinions. Some of these huge companies, not so easy. Right. They don't have a podcast. Magazines don't exactly sell the same anymore. They need things that are buzzworthy and clickable, that you see and say, oh man, what makes them say that? Mm-hmm. Oh wow, JD said what? I can't believe it. I just saw something that said, Dash says DJ Khaled never had a great album. And so that's a think piece. That's something that's like, oh man, I gotta see what this is about. Mm-hmm. I think that's what a lot of the shit that we hear today is. Like, there's no validity to have. Let me not say no. I think a lot of these things don't have validity. Mm-hmm. They don't show any evidence. They're just blurting out shit that's like, all right, what's hot in the streets? Right. Oh, Blue Ivy's been dancing all summer with Beyonce. Bam, call her a child prodigy. They'll talk about it.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting, and the reason that DJ Khaled made me think of that is because you were right in what you were saying about how his son Assad has been involved in DJ Khaled's business from the time he was born. Mm-hmm. Assad, I mean, one of the albums was named after him. Mm-hmm. He's I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's considered like he has a title. He has a title. Like,
there's a couple of. I think every. If I'm correct, I could be wrong. So forgive me if I'm wrong, internet. I think every album DJ Khaled has put out since he was born was. He has production credits. He's labeled it as executive produced by, and then his son.
Yes, and this,
which he got from the Book of Hov. I mean, if we keeping it real.
And you talked about not the same thing, but you talked about recently on your podcast about if you were president and what you would do. I said, if your kid was in trouble. Right. I don't want to give too much because they should go and watch it. But
thank you. That's the Sexual Intellectual Podcast on all platforms.
Right, but I think it's the same. I think it's the same premise. It's the same thing, right? Like, you want to do these like, that is the true, to me, that's the true definition of generational wealth, or that's truly what nepotism is, right? Like, being able to being in a position to put your kid in a better position and set them up for their lives. Absolutely. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, I think it's great, and I think more of us should be doing it. Agreed. If and when we can.
Right. But I think
I can't just put my daughter as executive producer. I'm not DJ Khaled. I mean, I could do it, but she's going to get 12 cents. Right. So, I mean, I don't sell millions and millions of records. I don't have billions of streams. You know, I can't even keep you awake.
But just publicly, but publicly, it doesn't mean that our reaction to that needs to be, like, this is a prodigy type of reaction. Now, I've been very complimentary of her being on tour with Beyonce. I think it's great. I don't have a problem with it. I say fuck whoever says, oh, she can't, she's this, she's that, she's not doing it right, or blah 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 blah. She's a kid. She's 11. Like, yeah. So what if she messes up? Or so what if she's a little uncomfortable the first couple of shows and then she picks it back up? I can't do what she did.
That's what I was about to say. I could never.
And the amount of people and the amount of nights that she's done it. Yeah. For an 11-year-old, like.
And so maybe she'll be a dancing prodigy one day.
Maybe. And
maybe she'll have the moves like Jagger.
What's the next topic? That should be the title of the episode. Moves
I'm with
like
that.
Jagger.
I'm with that.
You're ridiculous.
I'm telling you, man. I was ready to pod today. I came ready. Dad jokes fully loaded.
I don't even know how to move on. All right.
Just whatever you want to talk about.
All right.
We'll roll with it.
All right.
You are the showrunner. Hit us.
Well, you know what? Speaking of Jay-Z's kid, let's talk about Nas.
Hey, yo, what the?
I
I'm about to walk off this pod.
I didn't mean he is Jay-Z's kid. I just mean we were talking about Jay-Z's kin. So let's talk about Nas.
Don't ever say that again.
All right.
Jay-Z's kid. Let's talk about Nas. What the hell?
You know what I mean.
I'm supposed to walk right off this pod.
And you egging it on. Like,
that was bad. Don't do that.
But you knew what I meant.
No.
You know I didn't mean harm. Not to Nas. Not to Nas. I was a Nas fan before I was a Jay-Z fan.
I cannot say the same.
That's fine, but I was.
I mean, today I'm probably a bigger Nas fan than a Jay-Z fan, and I've never said that publicly, so now the beef is coming. But I was a ride or die Jay-Z fan until 2008, 2009, when a producer I was working with was like, I'm not sending you any more beats until you listen to some Nas. And I was like, ew, why would you make me do that? I don't want to do that. He's like, son, you rap too much like Nas when it comes to subject matter, even some of your flows, just naturally. You have to listen to Nas. I was like, but I don't even know where to start. I mean, I heard Ether and I knew, the big records. And I knew most of Illmatic because it plays everywhere, but I never sat and listened to a full Nas project from start to finish.
Oh, I had.
And he was like, all right, what if I give you a list of like a couple songs that I highly recommend? And I was like, all right, I guess if it's going to get me more beats and you're cool with me and it's going to help us bond and work better as artist and producer. All right. And man, he's probably not listening, but AR, if you're listening, shout out to you because man, that man he gave me like 10 songs. I didn't even need to hear all 10. I was like, where has this been? Why was no one playing this that I know?
Right.
Because they weren't. Everybody I knew was a whole ride or die whole fan. Mm-hmm. And when the beef came, everybody, including me, was like, yo, fuck no.
Well, yeah, everybody chose sides, but that was
for me, that's what I'm saying. I was like, well, what's that other guy got anyway? I was quoting the takeover lines and shit.
Yeah,
shame on me for that.
That's why when the beef happened, it was a really interesting time for me because I liked both of them and I listened to both of them. So I would.
So Nori was here. Nori would go. I'm sorry. I just laugh every time Nori does that because it's like he don't know what to say in those moments. So he just goes and scrunch. He leans towards the camera and nods his head, man. Just,
and also sounds like he needs to use the toilet, but it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, for me it was. I remember going to school and having these debates with people, but part of my issue with the debates was that I liked both of them. And we talk about it all the time where I'm like, yes. I don't understand why we have to choose.
Yes.
I want to be able to like everything that I like.
But in beef.
Well, but even when there's no beef.
If your big brother and your dad are beefing.
Of course.
I love both y'all, but...
I understand.
But Dad had a good point.
I understand that. I'm not saying I don't understand that. I just think that we as consumers of music do not exist that way. We don't just, well, some people do, right? But we don't have to.
Yes.
We absolutely do not have to choose. Like, I don't know these people personally to have to pick a side.
I think for a lot of us, in our age group. Mm-hmm. At that time, we were teenagers. We were 14, 15, 16.
But I'm talking about now. That's my perspective.
Well, that's what I was about to say, yeah. In hindsight today, I can understand why people chose sides. I mean, I only had one horse in the race, so for me it was default. But I can understand why, because this was a huge thing. Like, this was two top dogs.
It was big.
This was like King Kong versus Godzilla. Well,
I mean,
not
I got
in the movie.
into a physical altercation.
That movie was whack, but it's what we always dreamed King Kong versus Godzilla would be. It was that kind of thing. Like, it was our generation's Biggie and Pac in a sense.
Yeah.
Smaller scale, no violence, but it was like these two behemoths.
Yeah, you're right.
And
I got into a physical altercation with a young man at school over this.
This is confessions. That's what this is. All of this.
Yep.
But anyway, so Nas.
So, you know. Yeah. Chased me all the way home to apologize to me.
He liked you.
For hitting me.
You know the boys.
He slapped me in my face.
Oh, well, that part was not good.
I don't think he liked me that much. But anyway. So Nas was inducted into Billboard's Hip Hop Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Go Nas. Congratulations to Nas. We love that for him.
Absolutely.
You know, we don't celebrate Nas enough.
I said that to you after last pod, and I even looked back at our episode titles, and
we're very biased.
How did we never have a Nas title in all our titles? Anyway.
So,
yes.
Yep, and he gave an acceptance speech where he was quoted saying, "I'm starting to win awards in my third prime. I never won awards in the 90s. Yeah, so I'm happy for him. I don't like those little braids he's got going, but other than
that is not what we're here to discuss.
I'm just, colorful commentary.
There will be no Nas slander this pod.
Colorful commentary, okay? This is a podcast, like you said.
Is it colorful commentary if a white person says it?
No.
Or is it only colorful? Never mind. Next topic. You see, I be trying to get my shit off, You said you wanted more fodder, more regular flow conversation.
No, I didn't have a problem with anything you said. I was just going to say something bad. Yeah, so congratulations to Nas. I keep going to the wrong thing. Congratulations to Nas,
Yes, and I'm glad.
That's amazing for him.
Yes. I love that Nas, we said it last pod, but I love that Nas is getting all of the love and all of the accolades today. He's doing so many great things with Mass Appeal. And, speaking of Mass Appeal, if y'all didn't see it, and if you couldn't go to Yankee Stadium this past week, there was a huge Hip Hop 50th anniversary concert that neither one of us was able to go to because we're trash. But thanks to Mass Appeal, the full video is on YouTube. Y'all should go check it out.
All 8
Mass
hours
Appeal,
of it.
All 8 hours of it.
Yeah.
Mass Appeal did not pay us, but we love Nas and we love hip hop, and so in an attempt to further the celebration of hip hop and its 50th anniversary, we want to do our part. And so go check it out. All you have to do is look up hip hop anniversary, or you could look up Yankee Stadium Hip Hop 50. It'll pop right up.
And with that said, happy birthday to hip hop.
Happy birthday to hip hop.
50 years this week.
Everyone says it was the 11th because that's the day that allegedly the infamous party was thrown. Mm-hmm. And so I never knew hip hop had an exact date
and an address.
Well, we all knew the Sedgwick address. Sedgwick Ave address. Ooh, couldn't say that for a second. This is your brain on drugs.
And by drugs, we mean caffeine.
Just kidding.
Just caffeine.
Just caffeine. Hey, that's a good ad right there. Coffee companies, hit us up. You know what I'm saying? Jada, where's Jada? Jada got a coffee company.
Yeah, that's true. He has the coffee. What is it? A coffee and cigar bar or something like that?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, very cool. I want to check that out.
I'd be down. Anyway, yeah, so I never knew hip hop had an exact birthday, like the exact date. But I think that's super cool. Yeah. And so, yeah, hip hop turned 50 officially on, what was it, Thursday?
August 11th. So
Saturday, Friday. Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, listen, man, super cool. You know, I'm happy that we are seeing it celebrated at scale.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a little worried about all these companies trying to use us, but that's another conversation for another time.
Okay. We can talk about it another time, because I noticed something, and also I don't want to say the brand's name because I've said it here a bunch of times, and I don't know why it always comes up here, but they did something that really bothered me with this whole hip hop thing. No, not my former employer. Oh. No,
okay.
like a clothing, like a retail brand.
Got it.
Bro, I was just like, what does this have to do with you guys?
But see, that's my worry about this Hip Hop 50 celebration. I said it on Food, Fitness, and Fun.
Yeah.
And I shouted out Days there. I will shout out Days again. We have discussed this at length. Uh-huh. It's kind of weird. Like, some of the companies doing stuff. Yeah. It kind of seems real weird. Like, I feel like y'all are just taking advantage of us. And it's a weird moment because on one hand, I'm like, man, I love that we're getting all this love. I love to see our icons, our legends, our champions being championed, being loved, poured into, all of those things, celebrated.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I'm like, yeah, but y'all are using us. Y'all are using us for clout. And so maybe it's a mutual thing. But I don't think all of them are mutual, though.
Not all of them, but I think sometimes it is. I think sometimes on our end, or on the end of the people who are being represented, I think that sometimes we compromise that part of it because it's more important to have it happen than for it to not. And then that leads to another conversation about whether we should gatekeep our culture or not, right? Because I could make an argument that fuck everybody else. If you are not a part of this,
that's what I'm saying.
Let us have our thing, and let us celebrate it, and let us prop it up. But the reality of the situation is it should be celebrated everywhere, because when you think of the impact that hip hop has on music, period,
it's the number one genre today.
Like, it's kind of hard for anyone outside of that world to ignore it or not acknowledge it or not be a part of the conversation in some way. We could do the "we don't want you here because you don't really belong here" thing, right? We could do that, but I think it's more meaningful, right? If we fuck it, let them celebrate us. Like, let them bring out all the artists that we've known for however many decades, and have them perform at these events, and have them do this and do that and whatever. Have Lincoln Center have Rakim and Big Daddy Kane perform,
yes,
in their amphitheater. Like, yes. Do all of that. Do all of those things, because we belong in all of those spaces. And a lot of times we are treated like we don't belong in those spaces. So I could see both sides to it. I don't want to say, like, I am very much someone, anyone who has ever listened to Hardly, like, would know that I am someone who is very protective of our cultural things, Black things. Like, I am very much like, I just want to hold on to it, and I don't want anybody to touch it. Or, like, if you don't belong here, I'm very okay with saying this is our thing and y'all don't need to be a part of this. But I think for something so huge and so massive and so much bigger than us, I think it's okay to have them do all of these things, because people need to understand how important it is and how impactful it has been over the last 5 decades.
I agree. I also see both sides. My concern is, using your Lincoln Center example, and to the people outside of New York, I apologize, but this is a local example for us. Mm-hmm. using the Lincoln Center example, that's a good example because yes, Lincoln Center just had the live mixtape presented by J. Period, I think his name is. Yeah, J. Period, the live mixtape, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, Rhapsody was there, and others. Amazing. But to me, if from 2024 all the way for the next 50 years until our 100th anniversary, we don't see any fucking thing there.
Well, then fuck them.
But you see, but that's what I'm saying. So it becomes, I see both sides, and my thing is like, I want us to be celebrated at scale, and yes, we should be celebrated at scale, but I'm also conflicted. Again, I see both sides, but that's what makes me conflicted because I want us to get that spotlight. I want us to be in these spaces, but I want us there regularly, not when it's convenient for them, not when it gives them a sold out show they haven't had in weeks or months. I mean, and Lincoln Center sells out all the time. Let me be clear. I'm not hating on Lincoln Center, but I believe that there are venues doing these things that probably don't do that. Right. And so,
like I said, a retailer that I like, but is I don't think their store has me in mind, right? But it's a place that I like to go. It's a place that I like to shop. I got an email about the 50th anniversary of hip hop. I said, excuse me? Like, this is cool or whatever, but why do y'all care?
Chris, bleep this out.
Yes.
I knew it.
I was like, what is this? And don't get me wrong, it's not to say that they don't, because I've said this on the podcast before, where it's like, they sell Kendrick's vinyls, Kendrick and Drake and the other popular ones. Like, I'm sure you could find Lil Uzi and all of them in there because they sell vinyl. They sell record players and all kinds of things like that. I'm sure that's the type of place that you'd find Drake's poetry book.
Sure.
But let's call it what it is. Like,
cultural appropriation.
It's cultural appropriation because what y'all really...
That's the word I've been trying to think of this whole time. That's why I just was like,
Because what y'all really be pushing is like Led Zeppelin tees and Nirvana sweatshirts and shit like that. And y'all are really... Y'all create stuff for the hipster in Williamsburg, not for me. And so I'm okay with understanding. I've been shopping at the store since I was in high school. I'm okay with understanding that they don't necessarily, their store doesn't necessarily exist with me in mind. I think we shop at a lot of places like that, but don't play in my face is how I felt.
And see, but this is what I'm saying. The cultural appropriation and the convenience of it all is what concerns me.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And that's the thing, right? It's cool to walk into a place that you would never...
There you go. Celebrates 50 years of hip-hop. They ain't saying nothing about 50 years of hip-hop before this day.
And see, but this is what I'm saying. So that is an exact example of my concern. Because cultural appropriation and blatantly using us, exploiting us, is a thing as well. And so it's cool to walk into a place that's like, oh, every time I walk into this thrift shop, they only have blah, blah, blah. Oh, shit. There's a whole hip-hop section in the thrift shop? Oh, that's cool. But then it also makes you look around like, yeah, but don't shit else in here fit. Where did that section come from?
Right, because they sell they sell music tees.
Oh, I'm very aware, but that's what I'm saying. So that email, Lincoln Center.
You see that, right? They made specific tees.
Oh, of course, because they want to get their money.
What the fuck is this? Then sell things that already exist. Sell things so that people of the culture can profit.
But that's not what culture vultures do.
I understand. I'm just saying that was my thought process. I was really disturbed when I got
shouting out another hip hop legend. This is the shit Dame Dash be talking about.
Yeah,
that's what concerns me.
Yeah.
Now, I bet you this year you could sell a hip hop doc pretty easy.
Right.
I bet you the same doc you've been trying to sell for years about hip hop or about a specific segment of hip hop or the culture or a company or a magazine and their rise and fall. You probably were struggling for mad long to sell that doc. This year they're like, oh, we'll take that. Matter of fact, do you have another hip hop doc that you'd like to put out? Because even if you just have the idea, perhaps we can fund it.
Yeah.
That is my concern. The cultural appropriation, the culture vultures exploiting us and taking advantage of us.
Right.
It's a two-sided coin. I guess we got to take the good with the bad, but that's hard for me.
Yeah, it is hard. It is hard. Like that shit really was difficult to stomach, and I was just like, "Huh?" I just finished telling my niece the other day, like, you know, this is a store that I like. She's into mute, like she's.
No, I'm laughing because look how quick shit flips.
Right, because and you know me, I cut them off and I won't even think about it again.
That's my style too.
So I remember I just told her because it was just her birthday, and I was like, I want to take you to this store because she don't know anything about that, but I was like, she steals her mom's music tees. So I'm like, oh, well, let me get. Yeah, I was like, well, let me.
They don't even be knowing what it is. And they're like,
right.
oh, what's that? Oh, I've never heard of that person, but his dad owns it. I'm gonna use that.
One day I was on FaceTime and she was coming in from school with a Bob Marley t-shirt on. I said, where you get that from?
She was like, mom's closet.
Right. And when it's not that, it's Purple Rain.
There you go.
So I thought it would be nice to get her some of her own teas.
Right.
I mean, she looked at me like she didn't even care. But what's funny to me is several days later,
the email
came and I was like, fuck.
You see? Now what? Okay.
But anyway,
well, happy birthday, hip hop.
Happy birthday, hip hop.
We love you and thank you because we wouldn't be here without y'all. Right. At least that's how I feel. I don't know. Maybe you feel
I agree.
different, but...
I agree. And one way that, well, I guess this is one of those brands that's, celebrating hip hop this year. Men's Health. Oh yeah, there you go. Men's Health put
another great example.
A bunch of artists on the cover of Men's Health. It was Busta Rhymes, Method Man, Ludacris, Wiz Khalifa, and Common.
And 50 Cent.
I forgot about 50 Cent. But yeah, it's a good cover, and I know that they have. There's a lot of digital
variants, covers, content.
There's a lot of digital content.
Yes.
I couldn't think of the word.
I was playing double dutch in that motherfucker. Content.
What you got?
Covers. Alternatives. Chris. No, they don't got Chris. Magazines.
Right.
Apples. Water bottles.
Nah, but you got it. You held it down. So, yeah, there's a lot of digital content around it. So,
yes.
Do check that out if you.
They were smart. So there's one cover with all of the gentlemen on it, and they each have their own individual covers. Mm-hmm. And then there's content in the magazine about them and their journeys in hip hop and their legendary status and their fitness. Mm-hmm. And then I don't know if all of them are out, but I've seen some of them pop up on my feed. Mm-hmm. There are video interviews of each artist, and they ask them specific questions about their hip hop journey, their career, etc. Mm-hmm. I saw them with Busta Rhymes. They asked him really good questions. As much as I wanted to hate on it, I couldn't. They did a great job, and I have to shout them out for that. I didn't watch the one with 50, but I saw that it exists. Okay. I didn't watch the one with Method Man yet, but I saw that it exists. I would assume everyone has this same thing. They asked Busta some really interesting questions. It was very cool to see them really dig in the crates because they asked him about shit from way back. And then just like random like anecdotal things that was like, he said what? When? Mm-hmm. I didn't even hear that. It's like, yeah. So they did good with that.
You can always tell when one of us does the interview.
Facts. Or gave the court or found the questions. Curated the interview.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But yeah, so we have a couple more music things to get.
Oh, it's a lot of music.
It's a lot of music today.
All right.
I'm actually gonna move some stuff to next pod, but all right, two things that we, not as pleasant as.
Oh, I know what one of these is.
Two things that are not as pleasant as the other things that we talked about, but
something we said we would not report on until there was a verdict.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we'll get to that, but first, I do want to acknowledge that DJ Casper passed away.
Oh, yeah.
A few days ago. I don't remember exactly what day, to be honest, but DJ Casper is, if you know the Cha-Cha Slide, then you know who DJ Casper is.
It's impossible not to know that. If you go outside, if you've been to a function, you know the Cha-Cha Slide.
Exactly. And yeah, so unfortunately, we know he was not, he was pretty young.
I have to be honest, I don't know anything
I think he was
about any of it.
I think he was like in his 60s actually. He was 58. He died on August 7th. So he had cancer and passed away. Yeah, he had kidney and liver cancer.
Damn, that's sad.
He passed away on August 7th. So we just wanted to say rest in peace, because I mean, you know, the Cha-Cha Slide, like you said,
it's impossible not to know.
Yeah, and it's impossible to avoid it. Like if you go any
out,
gathering,
absolutely. I've been to non-hip hop functions, and then I hear that shit coming out.
Oh yeah, I mean weddings,
and next thing you know,
barbecues.
All the non-hip hop people are taking 2 steps to the left.
Oh my gosh.
2 steps to the right.
Clapping
their hands.
Hands on your knees.
They be trying, but yeah.
How low can you go?
They usually
can you go down low?
They be bumping into each other at that part.
But then at that part, you gotta take it to the top.
Like it never stop.
Like it never stops.
See? I know.
Right.
It's impossible not to know it.
Yeah, so
if you're listening to this or watching this, you probably thinking the same. You probably like, yo, hands on your knees, hands on your knees, hands on your knees, hands on your knees. That's right. My daughter knows that. I forgot how it came up one day, and I said something, and she was like, everybody clap your hands. And we both bust right out into it. And then when we were done, she said, oh, you know that one too? I was like, girl.
Like she been around longer than you.
Get out. Go to your room.
I love the way they be like, oh, you know that? Girl.
Come on. Like, I was older than you when that shit came out.
Right.
Come on, girl.
I have literally been alive 3 times as long as you have.
Like, girl, you know how old I was when you was born? I was 23. And that song was already out then. Come on, son.
What are you talking about? Yeah.
Here I am in my mid-30s and you're talking about, oh, you know that one?
Mid to late.
Go.
Mid to late.
Go.
Mid to late.
Whatever, man. We are 36. So
mid to late.
Y'all can categorize that however you see fit.
Mid to late.
Old, young, midlife, dinosaur. Listen, whatever, man.
Nah, I'll start claiming midlife when I'm about 45.
That's usually when people start. 45 to like 55. That's the.
Yeah, I mean.
That's when I hear people be on. I bought a motorcycle and I don't know why.
My dad bought a midlife crisis car and literally calls it his midlife crisis car. So. He was always a car guy, but there's one specific car that he bought, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I see it. Yep. I see it. That's his ride. I'm riding around and getting it."
And women, that's when they start doing like really different things to their look. You'd be like, "Oh shit, what the hell? You went blonde?
Yeah.
And you got a blonde baldy. All right, Dash. I don't know what made you do that.
Yeah."
They'd be like, it's my midlife crisis.
And contrary to what people think, I once listened to an interview with a black plastic surgeon who said everybody assumes that it's the younger ladies who go and get all this plastic surgery and whatever. And yes, those are the people who go and get like Brazilian butt lifts and things like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think all plastic surgery is I don't think young people are the majority of all plastic surgery. I think they kind of got a certain segment on Smash, but plastic surgery, I first knew plastic surgery as an older person thing.
I knew it as old white women.
I was trying to be,
Well, no, but I think it's relevant to what this person was saying. She was like, all of the older black ladies, that's what they're doing now? That's what they do. She was like, that's what they always did. It's just that it's probably a lot more subtle. You know, they're not necessarily looking for, like Botox lips and They're not necessarily trying to get facelifts and things like that because we do age a little bit differently. But yeah, that's, a thing, which makes sense to me. I guess I grew up not really thinking about older black ladies. I don't know. I didn't know a whole lot of older black ladies that had gotten any surgeries or things like that. Now that I'm a little bit older, I get it. I get what she's saying. I'm not gonna out nobody, but
please don't.
I get what she's saying. But yeah, so
I'm sure we all know.
I'm sure we know at least
1 to 12 people,
right,
who have had some kind of work done.
And I mean, do your thing, do whatever you want to do. But how do we even get there? I don't know.
Well, there's only one way to do it. Let me drive the car straight there, ladies and gentlemen. Tory Lanez has been sentenced.
Yep.
I said it. We said here we will not report on this until the case is over, and it would seem the case is over. Although, let me let y'all know,
there will be an appeal.
It's already in the process.
Yeah.
As soon as the guilty verdict came, they had to wait for sentencing to finish,
of course, yeah,
to file an appeal, and
it's already done, yeah.
It's already in the works.
Yep.
So Tory Lanez was sentenced to 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
He was looking at possibly facing up to 30 years, depending on how sentencing went. And so he got 10 years. He was also granted 364 days served. Mm-hmm. Basically, he got credit for a little less than a year. 1 day less than a year. Which is weird, because just give him the year. But anyway.
Nah, you ever watch one of those, those prison shows?
Yes.
When they teach you how to calculate the years, it's fascinating. But yeah, no, if they tell you it's 364, it's 364. That 1 day,
No, they purposely didn't count it, I know.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying, I could have gave him the day. Anyway, Tory Lanez was found guilty.
Okay, Warden.
Tory Lanez was given 10 years. The internet has a lot of feelings on it.
I hate the internet. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were going to say that, but I had such a strong reaction to it. Because I freaking hate the internet. The internet always got a lot of reactions. Man, fuck the internet. Sorry, please carry on. I would love to hear what you have to say.
That happened.
Chris?
No, that's staying. Vetoed. Pop.
No, that's not how this works.
Vetoed. Pop. Overruled.
Pop. I freaking hate the internet.
That's gotta stay. Too good to take out.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he could have served up to 30 years. He was sentenced to 10. I heard 25. I've heard 30. Doesn't matter. He got 10. And so he was sentenced to 10 years. Yes.
No, I said yep.
Oh. He was sentenced to 10 years. And I don't know. I think it's interesting that the internet has such a big reaction. Mm-hmm. One thing I will say is I do think it's foul that some of the letters that were written in private, support letters that were written in private, have mm-hmm. been publicly exposed or leaked, whatever term you like. People know exactly what celebrities said in support of him. Being blunt, now that it's all over, I don't have closure on the incident. I still don't know what the hell really happened. I don't think anybody knows what the hell really happened. I think there are certain things we know for sure, but what happened from start to finish in this incident, I don't think we really know. That's my opinion. I don't know what fully happened. Mm-hmm. I know there are specific things we know because it was confirmed by multiple parties.
Right.
But there are so many spots in this event that are blank spots. Mm-hmm. It's really weird, and I don't want to argue with internet folks or with you about could have happened, should have happened, this lied, that lied, this person didn't testify. I don't want to argue about any of that.
I mean, it doesn't matters anymore.
I'm going to say this.
Mm-hmm.
He was found guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there are people that want to cancel him. I'm not canceling him. When this first happened, I said I'm not going to support him until I know more. I don't really feel I know more. And so he got sentenced. He's going to do whatever time he does. Or he'll appeal and it'll get thrown out. I don't know. But I don't feel a need to cancel him. I don't feel it's clear that he shot her or did not shoot her. Also, I still think, which we said here before, I don't think a lot of people really understand what he was charged with. Mm-hmm. And so some of the things that he was found guilty of, they're not necessarily about shooting her. Mm-hmm. Pause on purpose. I think that y'all need to let that soak in and really register that this was not a domestic violence crime. He's not charged with domestic violence. He's not charged with shooting her. And I think y'all need to understand that when y'all talk about these charges. So I'm not supporting him. I feel honestly like confused still. And so people are saying that he got too much time. Other people are saying he didn't get enough time. Some people say the judge was too lenient. Other people say the judge was too harsh. Listen, man, I don't know what to tell you. All I can say is his defense did a terrible job. That is for sure. His new attorney is not playing around. And if y'all don't know who his attorney is, y'all should go look up him and his history. That guy does not fuck around. And so y'all should go check it out. I think that whether he is going to successfully have an appeal or not, there's going to be a lot more that we hear about this case and about changes that are happening in the case. People are talking about early programs where he'll be released, even though they said no. In that state, it's 85% of the time. He might be deported. He might not. I don't know. And honestly, none of that shit really moves me. I don't really care. Like, dude got 10 years. He did some things that he shouldn't have did. That part is clear. I still don't know if he shot her or not. And that's not even the charge. So all of this shit is really weird to me. I still think there was a lot of foul play. I still think there was a lot of big movers and shakers doing things behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. And I still don't understand how some people had to testify. Some people didn't, and where the fuck is the driver? Nobody still knows. So, I don't know, man.
Well, and I think that happens sometimes with legal cases anyway. That's this.
It's kind of weird that it happened in such a high profile. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the disappearing guy.
Well, that and a lot of the nuance that you brought up and that we've seen, I think that there's all they're looking to prove is beyond a reasonable doubt, and that is with the understanding that you may never get all of the facts, or some of the facts may be inaccurate, which I guess doesn't make them facts, but
alternative facts.
Right. But yeah, I think that that's a pretty common thing that happens. I think that, but because this was a high profile case, that it raises even more questions about why, if y'all had the resources, what happened to this person and all of that. But
there's just so many rich people involved.
Well, also because of that, it is not that curious to me that witnesses would disappear and certain people wouldn't have to testify, because they are also afforded advantages that people like me and you are not. So I think that there's a lot at play when it comes to this case.
Yep.
I think that what was decided, and like you said, not here to debate about whether it should or shouldn't be. What I did want to correct though is that it wasn't 30 years. It was up to 13 years he could have gotten based on the charges.
Really? I heard multiple reports saying 25 and 30.
I've only heard 13 in this article.
Listen, I'm fine with being wrong, and if so, I'm glad you were able to correct it. But I have heard much higher numbers than 13.
I think those are wrong.
Okay. Listen, I'm okay with that.
This is from Billboard. And I heard this somewhere else too.
Yeah, Billboard reporting on this is wild. Anyway.
I mean, but I guess Billboard kind of has to. Like, it's about two music artists.
Yep.
Meg Thee Stallion is a huge artist. Tory Lanez is not that far behind.
Well, people have argued that when it happened, he was the bigger star.
Yeah.
He had quarantine radio. He had just gotten a multi-million-dollar deal with YouTube.
Yeah.
And the proof is in the pudding. When he was in the midst of when the trial was coming up, he released a NFT project. Mm-hmm. It was $1 for the project. He sold 1 million copies. Mm-hmm. Or rather, he sold 1 million NFTs.
Right.
Same thing. The NFT was for the album. It's the only way you could get the album. Mm-hmm. People bought 1 million of them.
Yeah. So, and he maintains his He maintains that he's innocent.
Yep.
And
people have been reacting to that as well.
He said that he will do everything possible to make sure that he becomes victorious in this.
That's what he said.
Listen,
and a lot more.
There's. I didn't know his fans were called umbrellas, but that's.
Oh, you either?
No, I didn't.
I thought I was the only one because
I said
I've heard that multiple places. No, apparently not.
At first, I thought they were talking about Meg, and I was like umbrellas. That's Rihanna.
I really would like to know where that came from, and I thought like your quote unquote hive had to have some connection to your name or your music. What the fuck, umbrellas?
I don't know what an umbrella is.
Listen. I gotta figure this out. I need to have like the lions with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like I can't say the pride because that one's taken.
That one's taken. But the lions, is cute.
Well, and I gotta figure something out.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I mean
the intellectuals. Something.
Yeah.
I gotta figure it out. Maybe put out shirts. We are anyway.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Thanks.
This whole thing has made me uncomfortable the entire time that it's been happening from the very beginning, and I just feel like
it's been a circus.
I said on hardly, so I'll maintain my
stance.
Your consequences have actions. Your actions have consequences.
You just turned into Yoda right now.
Sorry, your actions have consequences, and
sorry
if.
Gotta get you a Yoda shirt now.
If that is what the situation is, if that is what happened, or at least has been resolved as happened. Now, I remember telling you, I called you when the trial ended, and that phone call to Kelsey happened.
Yes.
I called you and I said he did that shit.
Yep.
And I believe in my heart that phone call was very telling of what happened. Now, as far as how we got there and the order of events and all of that, and who was wrong and who was not wrong, or whatever the case may be, that phone call sealed the deal for me. And any doubt that I may have had, I was like, I don't know. This sounds like... And I think the thing for me, and then again, I don't want to litigate it at this point. It's already been done. But the other thing for me that got me, and that he tried to mend last week when he should have not done it in the first place, was he tried to antagonize her throughout. After whatever had happened.
Yeah.
And the judge made sure to make a point. Sorry.
No, you're right. Go ahead.
The judge made sure to make a point to let him know your behavior after this happened didn't help your situation.
Yep.
And contributed to the way that you were sentenced. Let's say, for argument's sake, let's say he's telling the truth. When you have legal stuff on the table, that has to become your focus.
Yep.
Sticking it to her publicly shouldn't have been his focus. And for a long time it was. And he continued. And it's even worse if he did. Or it's even worse if he did do it and then proceeded to antagonize her throughout it. Right? So for me, it's like, you were an adult, right? And you have a lot riding on this. Not just your career, you have a child. Yep. Like, you needed to handle whatever happened that day. After that, you needed to handle this situation like an adult who had things to lose. And he behaved like he didn't.
That's true.
And like I said, your why do I keep doing that?
Yoda.
Your actions have consequences. And I just feel like he did not, if he is going to hold on to his innocence and he is going to keep telling us that he's innocent, he should have handled this way better than he did after it had happened and a year, 2, 3 years have gone by at this point.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I said I put a lot of that on the defense team. Part of having a team to help you litigate is also not only helping you prepare to argue, not only gathering evidence, not only speaking to witnesses and seeing who's on our side and helping choose the jury. That's all part of what we see on TV and we know. But there's also a part of them telling you, hey, this is what you need to not do. Hey, I'm going to take your phone because you're wilding out.
Right.
Hey, make sure that you follow the restraining order. Whatever. There's all this different stuff that is almost like a PR team also.
Right.
If you watch any big case, you see people's behavior shift at certain points. It's because their team is telling them, hey, man, you need to calm down right now.
That doesn't mean you listen.
Hey, man, don't do that.
I agree.
Hey, man, you can't be doing this. Hey, or the opposite. Hey, you know what you need to do right now?
Yeah,
you
they get coached
you need to start wearing
you need to start
wearing this type of clothes. Yeah. You need to start going to these type of functions.
Y'all think Jonathan Majors showed up in a wrinkled suit just because?
Yes.
No, I don't believe that.
He'd be wrinkled in suits all the time.
Even before
I'm
the trial?
Yeah. There's mad red carpet pictures of him wrinkled.
I never noticed. I never paid attention.
Oh yeah, people have made fun of it for a while.
Oh, so he just don't iron his clothes? He don't own a steamer? He can't hire an assistant?
And I don't either.
Marvel don't pay him enough money for him to hire an assistant to make sure that his clothes get dry cleaned?
We should get to Marvel.
But you hear
That's
what I'm
actually
saying?
a good segue. It is.
You hear what I'm saying? Because his clothes should be dry cleaned.
Maybe.
And steamed.
His black girlfriend is okay with it, apparently.
I don't want to talk about that.
I know, that's why I said it.
I don't want to talk about that. Fuck that. I don't even want to talk about Jonathan Majors. I don't know why I said his name.
Well, we have to talk
They pushed
about
back his trial, by the way.
Oh, yeah? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they pushed back the date to, I think, September 6th or something.
That's close anyway.
Yeah, but it's probably going to get pushed back again. This seems like something that is going to be dragged out until, thy kingdom come.
Or till, the Kang Dynasty comes out.
Right, which is really what is probably happening. They're going to keep trying to push it. Until, when is that supposed to be released?
I don't know, because the strike has changed all the timelines. Originally, it was like 2025. Maybe 2026. Now, who knows?
I'm smiling because you said the strike has changed all the timelines, but didn't Loki change all the timelines?
That's true. And Loki Season 2 comes out in October.
And I will be watching that.
I gotta be honest, that trailer looked alright.
I will be watching that.
I watched the trailer a couple times. I was like, alright, I see what y'all doing out here.
Yeah. But, yeah, let's... I hate... Oh, that's that. That always freaks
me too. You saw me looking over here. I'm like, wait, but what?
Like, what?
What was that?
Oh my gosh, it's the fire alarm all over again.
You know what I'm saying? We'll be back after this commercial break. Right, so in music news, but not at the same time, keeping it legal, Beagle. Made in America has been canceled.
We made it in America.
Sweet baby Jesus.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
That part. That's the part.
We made it in America.
That's the part. So, what is it's a made in America?
Brother Malcolm.
Yeah, I don't mind her. She has Tourette's. It's not a big deal. If you watch this pod, you know this actually happens all the time.
Yeah.
But Tourette's aside, just kidding. She doesn't have Tourette's. It's jokes. It's a festival, right?
It's a festival, you know. I would say it's similar to like a Roots picnic or something like that. But I think it was. I don't know exactly who owns and runs it at this point, but I know that it was a collaboration between Jay-Z and Budweiser.
There you go.
So, yeah.
And as far as I know, Jay is still partial owner.
And he used to perform, I think, pretty regularly when it started.
Yeah, but that didn't stop. Once it took off, he was like, all right, I don't got to do that no more.
Yeah,
I got other shit to do. But Made in America is canceled. Headliners were SZA and
Lizzo.
And so we have no confirmation. But according to, well, let me start with what they said. They said, my mama said, to tell you.
Mama used to say.
Take your time, young man. Mm-hmm. Anyway, they said their official statement is something along the lines of, I'm paraphrasing, something along the lines of,
production issues?
Due to production issues that could not be resolved, this had to be canceled.
Yep.
Due to production things that are out of their control. Something like that. Y'all can look it up, search it up, whatever. Yep. We think otherwise. Well, I can't say we. Let me speak for me.
I can read it. You want me to tell you what it says?
No, I paraphrased. You got it?
I got it.
Oh, go ahead, read it then.
Due to, when you go to the Made in America website, it's just a black screen, and it says Made in America at the top, and then it says, due to severe circumstances outside of production control, the 2023 Made in America Festival will no longer be taking place. This decision has been difficult and has not been made lightly, nor without immense deliberation. Made in America has a legacy of delivering exceptional experiences for music fans and concert goers, and it is our commitment to always deliver a top-tier festival experience. We look forward to returning to Benjamin Franklin Parkway and the great city of Philadelphia in 2024. All ticket holders will be refunded at original point of purchase.
Boring. I think.
What you think? What you think happened with Lizzo and SZA?
I think.
What you think happened with Lizzo and SZA? Huh?
I think.
And we're not talking about that.
I think. Well, if you want to know what I think about the Lizzo situation, you can head over to the Food, Fitness, and Fun podcast and fast forward till about 30 or 40 minutes in, and we discuss it. Now.
And if you want to know what I think about the Lizzo situation, you can go on over to Hardly Minding My Business. I don't know what the timestamp is, but listen to the whole episode. It was good. And don't skip over my shit.
That nigga said, listen to the whole thing. It's good.
But we both talked about it on other pods. We do not need to cover it here. I understand why people would think that we would want to cover it here, but honestly, like, we're not going to talk about this. There's so many other things that we could be talking about here. So
you can end the pod right here, as far as I'm concerned. That was perfecto. What they say, chef's kiss. Anyway, chefs and kisses aside. I think they canceled the festival because Lizzo has too many legal problems at the moment. And that's not a good look when you're having a headliner. Somebody who is headlining your festival cannot be...
You don't think they would just replace her?
No, this is not that other festival we discussed.
But that other festival is even bigger than this.
Yeah, but I don't think so.
But the whole festival gets canceled because of her?
She's the headliner, yeah.
No, I understand that she's the headliner, but other people have been just as big and headliners at other festivals.
But have they been as big?
We're not going to do this.
Yeah! Yeah! Yo!
Nope.
When you get your co-host to walk off the pod, you've done the damn thing.
Are you done?
I'm just saying. You know, I got more under the up the sleeve if you want some more of that.
I can't. Listen, I'm not.
Because maybe those other people were large, but they wasn't in charge.
Go away. Please.
Maybe Made in America felt like this was not the right time to watch out for the big girls.
All right.
We're going to have to start doing like some of the other podcasts and put a disclaimer at the beginning of the pod. Because I'm over here wilding today.
Listen. I just don't know. Like, I don't know.
There's a lot of legal troubles out here. We got to find like, we should call this episode Legally Blonde.
Okay.
Because we don't know what's going on with this court shit lately.
I don't know what. I just feel
everybody has allegations.
Everybody has allegations.
And
everybody
lawsuits
has a case.
And problems.
Yep.
You know?
And while we're on it, Lizzo categorically denies the allegations.
I covered that.
No, I know, but I'm saying that because it's not like, because if we're gonna have a conversation about.
I was just cracking jokes.
No, I'm saying if we're gonna have a conversation about Made in America and that and that yes. It possibly was canceled because of her.
Okay, jokes aside, I do think that Lizzo right now has too much heat on her. No jokes. I think right now it's not a name you want at the big bold font on your website, your flyer, your Instagram, your X, because it ain't Twitter no more. Your X, your Threads, all of the platforms, your ads. I don't think that's the person you want in big bold letters right now. Mm-hmm. I know that's the way a lot of corporations feel, not Disney clearly, which we'll get to in a minute. But I know a lot of corporations feel like, man, you really in the hot seat right now. Mm-hmm. We got to put a little bit of distance between us until you figure out what's going on, until we figure out what's going on with you. I know that's how a lot of corporations operate. I'm honestly shocked that Amazon has not come and said that season 2 of the show is canceled, because season 2 is supposed to be coming.
Yeah, that
I think they're gonna come and say, we canceling the show.
Maybe. I can see that. I also think that's an easier thing to cancel than...
It won an Emmy. That's not easy to cancel.
No, but it's theirs and they can do whatever they want with it. I think that's easier. It's also a show that gets filmed and then has to go through a post-production process and then it gets released. Whereas Made in America is a live event.
I would think that Amazon is going to take a bigger loss. Especially if it's I don't know if it's filmed already, but I'm saying I do know season 2 was supposed to be coming.
I mean, it's a reality
I'm not
show.
saying it's not coming. I'm just saying if they filmed it already and it's in post-production and you got the writer's strike happening, so you feel like, man, we really need to be able to put some content out.
Yeah.
And then this happens and it won an Emmy season 1?
But it's a reality show. Like, it's not, they're probably not taking that big of a loss.
I really you think
reality shows cost far less than dramas.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the fact that it won an Emmy. That puts it in another category for the company that produces it.
It does. I'm not.
Or maybe they don't produce it. I don't want to speak out of turn.
It might be
has
produced
it
by
on their platform. Yeah, because a lot of times there's other companies involved. But they could actually do nothing and just be the distributor. But a platform that's where we know it lives. Mm-hmm. That I think that hurts them. Now, yes, it's Amazon, and it's probably like them and Disney, but in the top 2. But I'm saying that you know anything else that's hot on Prime? You know anything else that's winning awards on Prime?
Truly, I don't know. I'm not saying there aren't other things. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't mean a loss as far as the finances, I'm saying a loss as far as planning, strategy. I mean, if season 2 is done, this is all me spitballing here. But if season 2 is done and it's in post or post-production is done and it was about to drop, and now they don't drop it, they've already got all their marketing shit put together and as I say, ad spend, which is not wrong, but that's not the way the public knows it. Their advertising budget and probably all type of things in the works. And so and also, like I just asked you, the same way you're saying you don't know shit on Prime that's popular, I only know The Boys, which is like the dark remix of superhero stuff. And there's some show Dre told me about, but I don't even remember the name at this point. So like, Prime is not the go-to for original content, and this was a big win for them. Because now then, okay, we got Emmy-winning shows. What do you have, Disney Plus? Does Disney Plus have an original award-winning show? I don't know. I'm just saying these are the conversations happening in the rooms with the board of directors and people giving out budgets and how we want to spend our marketing dollars. And if these things are already set and they have to not use it or put it on hold and still maybe not use it because one of the dancers who's suing her is one of the stars of season 1. If that person is in season 2, they may not be able to use season 2 even if they want to.
Yeah, I mean, there is a loss that's associated with it if they have to cancel the show.
I'm sorry, I just remembered the term. I'm talking about market share, not necessarily finances.
Right. So
that's what I was trying to think of, but I couldn't remember.
There is a loss there. However, I think that when you're talking about something like Amazon, something that's so big, or like a Netflix, or even I think ABC. I've talked about it before here. I think ABC is a really good example and way more huge than those other two, right? But I think they're a good example of you pivot, you re-express that budget somewhere else.
Sure.
You reallocate that to something else. You either create something else or you put more budget into
other projects.
Other projects.
Yeah.
I don't think that I think yes, you're right. Is it something that was valuable to them, not just from a monetary standpoint, but in terms of just the content itself and what it represented and the fact that it won awards and that makes them look good, the whole company looks good, and people want to. That doesn't only make people want to watch as the audience, but that also makes people want to buy into them, right? So you Absolutely. Have more production houses coming to them saying, hey, we have this thing that we produced. We would love for you to distribute it and work with you. Right. Of course, it looks great if Lizzo's show wins an Emmy. And you're like, oh, Amazon Prime is winning Emmys. I want to be a part of that. I
don't want my show on Netflix.
Things are growing over there, and or maybe not. I don't want my thing on Netflix, but maybe when I'm looking at who I could take this show to, I know that I could either go to Hulu, Netflix, or Amazon Prime. Like those are my top 3. I think. It definitely puts them in a certain ranking in the conversation.
Yeah, that's why I say market share.
And that's really important. But I think that already happened, right? And at the same time, people understand, whether they like it or not, people understand that morality and ethics comes into play with a lot of this stuff.
Okay.
And so I don't know if they necessarily lose that excitement that people might have for them right now because of the success of the show, because it wasn't them. And because it does have to do with the show. But right now it seems like the onus is on Lizzo and her
team.
The head of the dance team or whoever it was, because that person seems to be named in a lot of the things that were going on. So yeah, I would be curious to see what happens next. I think that for Amazon, like what I would think is that Amazon will probably if it gets canceled, they'll probably invest in another big star, whoever they could get, to do something not necessarily the same, but
that'll draw just as much attention.
Right. I think they know that they figured something out that worked. So I could totally see them, and even whether they keep her show or not, I could still see them saying, wow, this thing really worked with this huge music star.
Let's try it with another one.
Why break something? Why try to fix something that's not broken?
They'll keep the formula and readjust the star. Yeah. I understand your point.
So I don't know what the Made in America. I don't know what the real reason is. But
you believe that shit that's on their website?
I believe. My theory is that multiple things were happening. My theory is that maybe they were already having issues with other things or other people or whatever. With festivals, a lot of times people drop out at the last minute. Look at how Roots Picnic, who was supposed to be there, Diddy, and then days.
It was supposed to be Diddy and a band. I don't remember the name of the band.
And days before, it turned into Usher. And no Diddy, right?
Which was a win for all of us consumers.
Exactly.
But yes, your point is absolutely correct.
Exactly. So I could see things maybe fluctuating, maybe moving around, and maybe there is a lot to do with Lizzo. I'm not saying that there isn't, but maybe it's also not so much about whether it was right or wrong or whatever, or how they feel. It could also be other artists that said, hey, I don't want to be associated with this shit. What y'all gonna do about it?
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Made in America. Listen, if you want to talk about the Illuminati.
Nope. Next topic.
Wait.
I want to be able to monetize at some point.
Or what does Kid Fury call it? The dudes that dudes like Future. He calls them the Illuminiggas. But no, this is what I'm gonna say. We always, and we've talked about things like this before on the podcast. There's no Illuminati or whatever, but what I'm saying is Jay-Z is connected to this festival, and I think that the rich people, and they even talk about this in Hollywood, how Hollywood protects Hollywood. I think this could be yes, there could be a deeper, darker, where it's like, we can't publicly embarrass Lizzo, especially if this shit comes back that Lizzo's really not at fault. We can't publicly embarrass her. She's too big of a star for us to be like, actually, we're not going to have you come to the event anymore. We're going to get someone else. And I could see, if you're well connected enough, them being like, or some money being slid under the table, like, I'm going to cover the cost of the festival.
Big money.
Let's cancel. Oh, huge money.
For a big star.
We gonna cancel the festival completely because we don't want to embarrass Lizzo.
Yeah.
And we don't want to ruin relationships with Lizzo because
relationships.
Because what if these allegations are untrue? I could see that. I can absolutely see that. I don't know. I don't have anything. I tried to look on TikTok because some people be singing like a canary when they work on something, and they be like, "Oh yeah, well I'm someone who works for Made in America and blah blah blah."
I was on Made in America's website and clicked the link, and I found their whole document.
Oh, like that Vogue thing?
That's why.
Oh, that is hilarious. But yeah, I was actually looking for a Made in America employee because I feel like somebody's gonna spill the beans on TikTok. Yeah. It may not go viral, but I bet you if you look deep enough, somebody's on there with their 200 followers going, so let me tell you guys what really happened.
Yeah, people, I'll be honest, this has nothing to do with any of the shit on our pod, but I don't think small creators get enough credit.
They don't.
Small creators, quote unquote.
They don't.
Because niggas with like 250 followers, they be having heat.
And they be giving it up.
They be like, damn, word, I didn't even know that. You mean there's a 24-layer cake sold somewhere in Manhattan? Why didn't I know this person with 200 followers? Thank you.
Because the same girl with the Vogue thing had a couple hundred followers, and she was just
got a couple 100,000 now.
She was just minding her business. She was like, "Ooh, look at beauty products."
She was doing a lot more than minding her business with that post.
No,
that's not a topic for this.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
Let's move on. We got other shit.
We
Jonathan Majors, Marvel. What you want to do?
Well, there's not a lot to say about Jonathan Majors. I said what needed to be said about Jonathan Majors, but if you want to talk about Marvel, we can talk about Marvel.
Well, Marvel is Jonathan Majors, and Jonathan Majors is Marvel. Que paso? Fresh new.
I'm so sorry. I just got an alert from Amazon saying that my shipment is coming and I don't know what they're talking about. Oh, it's allergy meds.
You see?
Okay.
Amazon was like, "Oh, you spoke about us? Oh, you showed us love? Get your meds early, girl."
You know, sometimes you be getting a discount for subscribe and save, and sometimes I'll sign up for it and then forget about it months later. Like, oh, yes, okay. They're like, "We've charged your account and we'll be sending out your item in a few days." And I'm like, "What item? I didn't buy anything." Anyway.
I was saying.
Yeah.
You said we could speak about Marvel. Marvel is Jonathan Majors, and Jonathan Majors is Marvel. That's the news. There's no other Marvel news to really report.
Yeah. So we can talk about it.
It's just a report, but for those who don't know, Marvel has basically confirmed that they are sticking with Jonathan Majors, and he will still continue to play King the Conqueror, and he will still be the star of the Kang Dynasty film, aka Avengers 6.
Yeah.
6? 5? 5.
Feels like 5.
5. Avengers 1. Avengers Age of Ultron is number 2. Then it was Infinity War. Mm-hmm. Then it was Endgame, which is technically number 4 or part 2, but they're doing the same thing. So it'll be Kang Dynasty and then Secret Wars. Yeah, man. That's it. There's nothing really to talk about. No. I have to be honest. Only thing I will say is I'm shocked. I didn't think that they were gonna do that. I thought they were gonna stall things and wait until we knew what was up. Wait until there was a verdict, or at least things were leaning a certain way, and then be like, all right, we're gonna keep you, or be like, you're getting too big, Lizzo. I mean, Jonathan Majors. See you later.
Well, remember, they do their own internal investigating also. So maybe there is something that they know that we do not know.
Sure, or maybe they just paid niggas off enough that we're never going to hear about this shit again.
Right.
There's mad possibilities. I just think it's really soon for them to double down and say, hey, we are rolling with dude.
Yeah, I mean,
and we'll see what happens, because a lot of people, this is similar but not the same, but a lot of people did not go see Flash because of all the stuff going on with Ezra Miller.
Right, yeah.
And so this could hurt Marvel. We will see what happens.
We'll see. Yeah. Well, speaking of that, since we're talking about movies.
What you got?
Well, couple movies to talk about.
All right. Talk about it.
You saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles on the Half Show.
Turtle Power. I didn't know you was gonna get the whole thing. Good.
I mean,
excuse the left.
I mean, I used to watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Same.
That was, you know.
Well,
them in the basement.
When I took my daughter to see Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, we saw the trailer for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, I believe it's called. Yeah, pretty sure that's the name. It's a very different type of animation, and so I didn't think she was interested, but she was, and so we went to see it. I could tell just off the preview, like, oh yeah, trying to do some Spider-Man, Spider-Verse shit. You could tell by the artwork they went a very different route than modern animation, just like how Spider-Verse did. And that's why I didn't think she would be interested. But she was, so we went and saw it. It's fun. It's interesting because I've seen a lot of reports online before the movie came out about how they took one of the darkest, most gritty Ninja Turtles films and are making a movie. And people on the internet were like, wow, comic book fans are really about to get the shit they want. I'm going to tell you, I don't think y'all got the shit y'all want. If you read that story and went to the theaters, you're probably mad. Now, if you didn't read the story, you probably had a blast. It was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Everything was on brand. There was pizza. There was teenager jokes. There was Master Splinter. There was April. Lots of New York City and sewers and wanting to be part of the real world. All of that was the same.
A part of your world.
Yeah, that too.
So the Little Mermaid and the Ninja Turtles are the same.
Yeah, a lot of these stories have similar themes. That was the new Rapunzel story too, no? And Frozen.
Oh, what, Tangled?
Tangled, there you go.
I liked Tangled.
So
You are shady.
Tangled was trash.
You think Tangled was trash? I didn't think Tangled was trash. I liked it.
This is about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
All
We
right.
can talk about Tangled another time, possibly off pod.
Well, no, we're not talking about it on.
Yeah, well, maybe for a social media video or something. But they did a good job. It was, I'll be honest, I did not like the animation. I could tell that they did some like remix version of the stuff that's going on with Spider-Verse. I'm all for doing your own thing, but it wasn't great. And I feel like there's so much fly technology today. It just was weird to watch, but it wasn't horrible. I just didn't think it was fly. Like it was kind of like a downgrade. But it was original in that sense, so points E for effort. It was modern. They kept a lot of the old stuff that someone our age would enjoy.
Okay.
But then like they were on TikTok. They were doing all the little shiggy dances and stuff.
Oh, yep.
There's a scene where they're very excited because they think they're about to be popular superheroes. And they are huddled up and doing TikTok dances. And they're like, we outside. We outside. It's so
That sounds funny.
And then there's another part in that same scene. It's like 1 or 2 minutes long, but it's probably the funniest part of the movie because they're doing all the modern stuff that like a teenager would do. Said it like, yo, Ock, let me get a bacon, egg, and cheese. Yo, Ock, let me get a bacon, egg, and cheese. And they just keep saying that. It's so funny.
That's funny.
And so
I want to see it.
the movie was cool. The theme is seeking acceptance and then realizing what acceptance truly is, like much of the Ninja Turtles movies and like much of the things that are for children. This is not a rated R Ninja Turtles movie.
Right.
This is to sell toys, restart the franchise. I was going to say genre, restart the franchise. And I think they did a good job. Like I said, it was fun. It was light. There were themes. There was action. It was funny. It was a lot of the things that you expect from Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
Of course, there was an origin story and lots of other things going on. And so it was cool. I enjoyed it. My daughter enjoyed it. And we had a good chat afterwards. And we'll put it on our pod, which I will not shout out here.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
I think I want to see it.
You should. Take your nieces. They'd probably have a blast. Especially because now they're on TikTok. And so they probably know some of those same dances and references. Yo, when they did the bacon, egg, and cheese thing, it's funny because they were all like huddled up and doing the dances, and then they're like, yo, Ock, let me get a bacon, egg, and cheese. Like, they physically changed their posture and like, yo, Ock, hey, yo, Ock, let me get a bacon, egg, and cheese. Funny. Yo, let me get a bacon. And they even put their voices deeper like that. That's why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
They didn't keep their regular voices. Be like, yo, Ock, let me get, no, there's like, yo, Ock, let me get a bacon, egg, and cheese, yo, Ock. Yeah.
That is hilarious.
Yeah. So that's it. I thought that was cool to bring here. I know this is not the pod for that type of stuff.
Yeah, but
I
sounds
think
interesting.
I was a Ninja Turtles fan.
I was too.
And I feel like maybe some of our listeners, viewers, subscribers, watchers, maybe they are too.
Yeah.
And I know one of them is, hey Ness. So I figured I'd talk about it here, just for a little bit.
Okay. Cool.
Next on the docket.
Oppenheimer.
Oh man, listen. I got a lot to say.
Okay. Take it away, Jack.
I really don't have anything bad to say. So, for those who don't know, I'm a huge Christopher Nolan fan. Mm-hmm. I've seen everything that he's ever made, except this one short film that I cannot find anywhere. If you got it or you know how to get it, please holler at me because I'd like to see it. It's technically his first work ever. But I own all of his movies except, I don't own the Dunkirk. I actually hate Dunkirk. But anyway, I don't own Dunkirk and Tenet, but I own everything else. This was like, if you know his films, you could see this was his style. And so you see things that he's done in Batman. You see things that he's done in Memento. Mm-hmm. You see things that he's done in Inception. And it's kind of like he used all the tools in his utility belt to create this masterpiece.
I mean, you would need all the tools for a 3-hour movie.
And that's the next part. I say all the time, movies don't need to be 3 hours. I constantly complain about movies being too long, even though I know most movies today are 2 hours and 20 minutes, and a lot of the popular movies are 2 hours and 40 minutes. I constantly complain that anything longer than 2:40 is crazy. It's unnecessary. There's things that you can take out. I gotta be honest. And maybe I'm ODing because I like the guy. I don't know what you would take out of this film.
I agree with you.
I saw it twice.
I agree with you.
Well, I'm gonna say 1.5 because the second time I was really sleepy and I missed a little bit. But
I agree with you though.
I don't know what, like, Avengers Endgame, I was critical of. There was a lot you could have taken out. I say all the time, you don't need like 45 minutes from that movie.
Yeah, there are some
The Batman.
That you don't need there.
Yeah, The Batman. And I'm just talking about recent ones. There are older films that are 3 hours. Like The Irishman. Why the fuck does that movie even exist? Well, let alone be 3 hours. Anyway.
That's a conversation for...
Yeah, and there was a movie recently, I don't even remember the name, but it was like Brad Pitt, Tobey Maguire, Margot Robbie, mad stars, and then it was like, 3 hours and 7 minutes or some shit. And I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. No, I didn't even watch it. But in this film, I don't know what you would take out because, I mean, they might kill me for this, but I think every part of this movie is there for a reason.
Yeah.
I think if you took out anything from this movie, it wouldn't be as good as it is.
It's not the same movie. Yes. Okay, so what I realized, because I saw it too, and what I don't know Christopher Nolan's work as intimately as you do. Like, I've seen some of those movies, but I guess I never watched with the idea that it was Christopher Nolan to connect the dots the way that the way that you would as a fan. But what I will say is that watching the movie and seeing how it goes from this to that, like it truly has a beginning, a middle, and an end. All of those parts are necessary. You don't get to the end of the movie without having the beginning and the middle of the movie. And that was something that I enjoyed. Like, there was definitely a shift that happened multiple times throughout the film. Yep. I thought it was really... You could tell that it was meticulously thought out. Yes, I thought it was incredibly stylized, just the way that everything was structured, and I enjoyed it. I like a good scandal.
Yeah.
I like when things get a little spicy.
Yeah.
This is like actually very much my speed. Like, I know that publicly I speak about very specific things, but I love a good drama.
Me too.
I am locked in.
And that's what was scary to me.
What?
When you tell someone, hey, this is a 3-hour drama, it's like, oof, why?
You said that, and I was like, "Oh, I'm ready."
See, but
I was excited about that.
A lot of people, me included, that was the hesitation. Like, if you say, hey, it's a 3-hour action movie, you know there's stuff that's going to keep you awake,
right,
keep you excited. A 3-hour drama?
Right.
That's got to be a good-ass drama. And it is.
And it is. I think, what is his name?
The main actor?
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy. I think he did a great job.
He will be nominated for an Oscar.
Of course.
I don't know if he'll win, but he will be nominated for an Oscar. And I believe, maybe I'm ODing, but I believe Robert Downey Jr.
I was just about to say his name.
Will be nominated for Best Supporting Actor, and he probably will win.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about Robert Downey Jr., okay? Look, first of all, okay, before we even get to Robert Downey Jr., can we please, and I know maybe this is not the one thing that your mind goes to, but my mind definitely goes to this. Whoever was in charge of makeup and costuming these people, I think really important, the way they made Robert Downey Jr. look, the way they made all of them look older, like, because the movie goes through
different time frames,
and whoever did that, who whatever team they had to do that, did an impeccable job. And I know I feel like those people don't get a lot of credit or a lot of shine because it's not the thing that you really think about. But there are people who had to make them look that way.
And they did a great job.
I just remember sitting there when Robert Downey Jr. first comes on the screen. And I knew who was in the movie. But he comes on the screen and I look at him and I'm like...
Yeah. There's actually quite a few actors that you recognize, but it's like, oh, y'all altered this person.
Right, you had to
like,
take
there's
a
one
double
specific
take.
person. I'm trying to be as non-spoilery as possible because the movie's doing extremely well. But it's also very hard to get tickets for certain showings. So maybe you want to see it and haven't seen it. So I'm trying to be a nice guy here, even though it's been out for a while now. It's about to be a month. Almost. It came out July 21st. We a week shy of a month. So y'all should have seen it by now. But in case you didn't, I'm trying to be a nice guy. But there's a specific actor who plays a major role. You see that towards the end. Yeah. That I was like, that's not his nose. They totally gave him a new fake nose.
But that's what I'm saying.
He got like a regular nose, and then when you see him, his nose is like big and kind of like leaning a little this way. Yeah. I was like, wow, they did their thing.
That's why I'm saying.
And
they killed it. Like whoever was involved in that, whoever spearheaded that, whoever had to dream that up, that part of it. I love when things work together. Like, great film, great writing, but also they look the part the entire film.
Yes, and adding to that, I think something that worked really well, and honestly, I didn't think it was going to work well when I saw the trailer. I didn't know how it was going to going from black and white to color, back to black and white, back to color, back to black and white, back to color, and it transitioned perfectly. Like, I don't have any complaints about it, honestly.
It worked. But Robert Downey Jr., I was like, man, it's good to see him
do something besides Marvel.
Do something.
And he said that.
Be Iron Man.
He said that. He said he did a lot of promo that I saw and was like, yo, this role is about to be crazy. I don't even think y'all really ready.
It was nice.
He said, like, and there's even like interviews that say Robert Downey speaks on his first role since Marvel.
Yeah, and he was, and
even though it's not, but whatever.
And obviously, when he plays,
I guess they mean since he left Marvel, but also, who said he left Marvel? Y'all don't know? Anyway.
When he's Iron Man, he's not super funny, right? But he's comedic. It's a lot more lighthearted.
It's witty.
Yeah. This was a completely different...
He's the genius who doubts himself.
Right. And he's also the one that's kind of...
man, the geniuses in this movie, they did not doubt themselves.
At all. Okay? And to be a scientist, you have to be able to show up every day. So it makes complete sense. But yeah.
What was the line he told Shorty? she said, you think, I don't want to say the whole line, but she was saying that the rules don't apply to him. Mm-hmm. She said, you think you could break the rules that you wrote? He said, being brilliant counts for a lot. I was like,
and you know who's arguing?
Can I put that on her shirt? Will y'all let me sell that?
Who is arguing? But yeah, he killed it. He Robert Downey, he did a great job. They all did really well. Like it was a great film. It was probably one of the best things I've seen in a long time.
And don't be surprised if Christopher Nolan is nominated for Best Director because
he will be, and that would be great.
This film was probably one of the best films of the year, and I don't see too much fly shit left to come out this year. So yeah. And I know everyone's talking about Barbie being having $1 billion at the box office, but before this weekend started, it was announced that Oppenheimer's at $600 million. So they ain't doing too shabby neither, people.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, no,
I think I could be wrong, but I think this would be not DC. I think this would be Christopher Nolan's second $1 billion film.
That's amazing.
I think Batman Dark Knight with Heath Ledger Joker, I think that did $1 billion, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
I did not search this on Google before seeing it, so.
Liar! So last
Give the disclaimer and they say, you're a liar.
You lied.
You're a liar.
Yep.
That's not pee on the bed. It's Mountain Dew.
Exactly. So quick shout out before we go to Yo Gotti, who becomes co-owner of Major League Soccer's DC United.
Yes.
That's a really cool thing. Yeah, sure.
Of the team, we was talking about something different at first in between building the relationship and talking and telling what I was trying to do, my visions in life and where I was trying to go. And I think the opportunity just presented itself, and when it presented itself, and that's one of my biggest things. Like I feel I'm trying to do with diversified entrepreneurship, and as who I am and what I represent to the culture, just to show that we can do other things. Of course, we don't got to street hustle. We don't got to just do rap music either. Yeah, we can own professional sports team, we can do real estate, we can do trucking companies, we can be in tech investments, we can be in whatever consumer goods, whatever we desire to be in, if we stay on point and stay on your pivot like you need to be. Yeah. And make sure you're in position. One of my biggest things, make sure you're in position when the opportunity presents itself.
That's audio from Earn Your Leisure, by the way.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Shout out to Yo Gotti. Congratulations. Yeah. Congratulations to hip hop. Because that's a hip hop person, that's a hip hop artist, that's a hip hop mogul, and icon. No matter how you feel about the music or what he does, that's who he is, that's what he is. God put some respect on his name. And I think it's a beautiful thing that he's showing these things. I think it's a beautiful thing that Earn Your Leisure allows us the platform to go up there and speak about these things and allows us as consumers to learn about these things. So shout out to Earn Your Leisure. Don't take our video down, man.
Please.
Yeah, because the copyright thing is really weird right now. But anyway.
The block is hot. But
the block is hot.
The block is
That's
hot.
the name of the episode. It's Lil Wayne, right?
Yeah.
That's the name of the episode.
All right. Well,
we got 30,000 titles here.
I was just about to say
300. That's the
name
of the
text me
episode.
Asking me what the episode title should be.
I'm just
because choose one of them that...
Yeah, me and Chris would choose a name. You'd be like, why is it called 300? This doesn't even make sense.
Exactly.
Why is Leonidas on the thumbnail? This is ridiculous.
Yeah, but there's plenty of material here. We've called all of them out.
All of them.
Anyway, that's our episode.
Yes, and that's it for us. Thank you for being here. As always, we appreciate you. And hopefully, we'll see y'all real soon. And before we go, one last thing. Sorry. We're doing some different things on our social media platforms. Go check them out. You might enjoy some of the new things we're doing. And so I know some of y'all may not know we're doing it. Algorithms, reach being limited, all of those things. So if you made it this far and you love us like we love you, check out what we're doing on socials. You know the socials. LHRC POD. That's us on all the platforms. That's it. We can go now.
Bye.